Dolphins preseason week 2 is in the books. It's closed. We got some film. Dolphins seconds mostly versus the Lions seconds mostly. I was hoping to see at least one drive of ones versus ones. Didn't get what I want. That's okay. Maybe next week, maybe not. We'll see. But I think for me, a lot of things are becoming more clear. So I'm going to go my stock up, stock neutral, stock down. I'm going to have some film. I'm going to have some stats. I'm going to give you my evaluations. And in the comments, we can kind of hash it out. So that's the deal. I think overall, we stepped up from last week. We were a little sloppy, but not nearly as sloppy as the Lions. That's a good thing. McDaniel's got a lot of past history of being sloppy, and I feel like maybe we're getting a little bit more disciplined this season. I was hoping the special teams to be nice and clean. They were a big piece of our sloppiness, but it was something I think that can get corrected, I'm hoping. Anyway, so that's the whole deal. Going to get into it, guys. We're almost there. One more preseason week, then a bye week, and then the season kicks off, and then we can really hardcore eval. Now, before I get into it, my man Dirk, he's on with me Monday night. Great guy, dude. He was fighting fires in Alaska for a couple of weeks. He was kind enough to invite me on his channel for a live conversation. We're going to do that Tuesday night, 8 p.m. You can see it here. Come check us out, and if you can, subscribe to his channel. He's a great guy, and he played football. He was a tight end lineman who went to a tight end. He brings a lot to the table, so come check me out there then. Anyway, other than that, guys, the like, subscribes, the comments, the views, all that stuff keeps Curtis in the biz. You've been doing a great job. 10K is the goal. I'm trying to make it this season. If you can help me out with that, that'd be great, because the algo gods, they like 10K. My sponsors like 10K, so I like 10K too. Anyway, I appreciate all you guys do, because without you and without my sponsors, without the two of you, this show ain't going down. Ace Per Head's betting software is the premier white label platform for bookies to manage their players and grow their sportsbook operation. Click the link in the description below to get set up in minutes. Ask for the Curtis promo and get a special introductory discount. All right, I'm going to get into it. Overall, there was an uptick, I think, in certain areas. It's really hard to gauge, because when you start out in your seconds, then you start playing your thirds, and you play on your fourths and your fifths, guys ain't going to make it. It's a little difficult to pull together, but I felt like we had firm control. Allen, it could have been more lopsided in that sense, because Kyle Allen had a bunch of free guys open in the secondary and just didn't hit them. I thought Wilson didn't do a great job, but he looked better. I thought Ewers looked a lot better. A lot better. And that's a good sign. I think overall you could see we have more talent in explosiveness and big play potential on both sides of the offense and defense of the backups of Detroit. They got a lot of young guys. I think their starters overall, the team's a better team, but your depth is as important as your starters, and so that's a good sign. Again, I said McDaniel, he did his thing. He kind of kept things sort of tight. So I'll get into it. Overall, for me, I'm going to go through the players that I saw shining or kind of showing a little bit, maybe in a neutral position, and then some are going down. There's a lot of surprises for the upside. And there's unfortunately a surprise on the downside. I might get some hate for it, but I got to tell you what I think. So overall, Eskridge, he just looked like he was playing on a different level. He's just playing at a faster pace than everybody. He's clearly a very, very talented player. He had the fumble on the punt, and, that's a thing. But man, he had some big plays, and he just looked like he is playing on a different level. And when you add Taj Washington, who had a good game, Malik Washington, Westbrook, who's lurking around there, another guy, and then Waddle and Hill, this receiving group is the best receiving group that McDaniel's had, and that's a great thing. Now, I don't believe it's receivers or skills on the build. It's inside out. But when you have this kind of receiving group, it can do a lot for you, especially against those lower teams and the middle teams. This is great news. So Eskridge really, he is just a big piece. And it's almost to the point where they got too much talent. Because how are you going to get to spread all this ball around to everybody? But on another note, with Hill being kind of dinged with this oblique, it does give us some breathing room. And guys like this can help us move off maybe Hill next year to trade him, or maybe a piece we can trade one of these guys for a piece we need, or we could just be stacked. So to me, Eskridge was clearly the best guy on both sides. Right after him, though, great story. I'm a big fan of Jordan Phillips. What a game. He had a sack and a half. He kind of dominated inside. The guy's only 20 years old, and the power that he has is really at its lowest stage. When he hits 25, just as an example, not from power standpoint, Benito Jones that came into the league like 305, he's 350. So Phillips can add weight, add strength, add skills. This guy had a game. Stock up on both these guys. Grant, I thought, had a good game. I still think he needs to grow in some areas, but he had some nice pass rush moves. I think that's something he's got locked in, baked into the equation. The run stopping, it's sort of there sometimes and sort of not, but I got to give him a stock up. Again, these guys are facing second strings, but they're rookies, so you got to offset that a little bit. Taj Washington, you see that catch he had over the middle? It's like Malik Washington and Taj Washington, they're like the twins, except Taj might be a little bit quicker and Malik a little bit tougher. Taj Washington had a great game. Wilson, he's Wilson. He doesn't really throw with much anticipation, but he looked more in control. Obviously, they're not game playing against him. He's going against the seconds. He's a first-round pick. But you got to say stock up on Wilson, which is good. We need a backup quarterback. Ewers, clearly, he looked much better. What a disaster it was last week. And you can see how he felt more comfortable from 1 week. Still, he needs to grow a ton. I'm not writing him in as Tua's replacement or anything like that. But you've got yourself two quarterbacks that in week 2 are getting a little bit better. And you got one more week for them. And they can marinate through the season, hopefully, and maybe never even do anything except cleanup duty. So that's good news, too. Kana. This might be the best he's done, like this deep into the season. And you got to give the guy credit. His blocking is no good. It's not. But he had a bunch of plays. They were feeding him. Not exactly certain why. Is it to trade him or is it to get him ready? The tight end group's a little weird. Farrell Brown, I'll get into. Julian Hill. I don't even think I saw Julian Hill play, actually. And then Rucci. I thought Rucci was another guy stock up. He had a very good day in blocking. Again, it was in the lower tier players. So you got two guys in your tight end group, which you really need. That's a stock up. Ollie Gordon. Now, Ollie Gordon looks good when he gets some space. Once he gets to that hole with a little head of steam, the guy's a beast. But he's going to need that. You could see when the hole's clogged, he can't bounce out a gap to get to the hole. I mean, he's okay when the yards before carries okay. When the yards before contact, I should say, not carry, is pretty good, he is excellent. He's very powerful. He had the nice catch outside, saw him catch with his hands, not with his body. There's a lot to like about this kid. But he's going to be the most dependent of all the backs as far as the blocking goes. Grayson Murphy, I haven't been big on him as a bunch of people. Reason I heard was really big on him. Dirk, that I'm going to go on with him Tuesday night. You can see him on Monday night mostly. He's big on him. He was having a really, really good game. Willie Gay, he's going to be in two categories. Very good in run stop. Very good at getting after the quarterback. But he's going to also go stock down in another area. But overall, and then Weiss Jr., George on Finn's Faithful, is a big Weiss Jr. fan. I saw a lot of stuff that I liked. Zeke Biggers had a pretty decent day, although it was later in the game. Quentin Bell. There's a lot of guys that are showing some stuff. Unfortunately, there's a bunch of guys that it's not a big deal on most of them, but there's a few that is concerning. Now, neutral, Cam Smith sighting. Second round pick in his third year, going against third and fourth strings. He did okay. If that floats your boat, But for Cam Smith, he didn't get injured. That's good news. Storm Duck, to me, it was a neutral category. He was in late in the game, and it makes me wonder what they're thinking with him. Maybe they're still trying to marinate him. And Tyndall had a decent game again against backups. It's year 3 for him. But that's kind of good notes for all three of these guys. Storm Duck, you'd like a little bit more. He was pretty good, I think, in the run-stopping department. But I saw. I'll get into the one play where he called man, and it was the in-out, and him and the safety, 34, got banged up, and it was a touchdown play. I didn't like the call for man on that. That's usually just a clear sign they're going to do the over-under. I got to check his coverage out. But then on the downside, Keon Smith. I'm going to have film on this and all that stuff. Keon Smith is no bueno. No bueno. We got to get rid of him. He's just not good enough. He's not good enough. Borum, not good enough. Not terrible. I guess as a backup deep down in your roster. But this backup tackle role is very, very questionable. Meyer, I'm not a big fan of Meyer. He can't run block. He gets pushed around. Armstrong, I think he needs to go back into retirement. No good. He was attacked all day. They had him out there. They were testing him. He needs to. I'm sorry. He's a super talented guy. He made the NFL, but no bueno. Bonner. I think he got a bad hamstring too along the way, but there was a couple plays where he was trailing and Allen didn't hit the target. It would have been a completion. He just doesn't look ready, which sucks. We kind of need him, and I like him. Pharaoh Brown, he had some good blocks, but not in the run game. He struggled a couple times. I didn't see everything, but that's a big one. I thought Pharaoh Brown was going to do much better. He said he's going to be the best blocking tight end in the league. That ain't happening at this stage. He's got to step it up. Unfortunately, Jalen Wright, the fumble and a big missed pass block. He took the outside guy instead of the inside guy, and the pressure was on Wilson. He struggled with pass blocking. He had some decent runs, aside from the fumble. The guy's got talent, but I've said that my college career ended on pass blocks. In the NFL, if you really want to be that back, you've got to be unbelievable in the run game, unbelievable in the pass game. Barry never really pass blocked, but he was Barry. But if you're pretty good, you've got, and a fairly big guy, he's like 215, 220, you got to be able to pass block. I don't think it's a physical thing so much, although, I don't know. But it's a mental recognition. I was very unhappy about it. Dante Trader looked terrible. He is a rookie. He's been injured. He hasn't had the reps. But we need him, and I'm hoping him to be a wild card for us. He didn't look good. Willie Gay, I was talking to my man PJ. Our linebacking group has got a lot of good to it. We've got a lot of depth to it as long as Dotson and Brooks stay healthy, because no one past them can really pass cover like those two guys can. If those two guys stay healthy, the little pieces around them for their individual roles, it's going to be an excellent linebacking group. But if one of those go down, let's hope not, and someone's got to come in for long duties, they're going to get picked on. Willie Gay does struggle in pass coverage. He's excellent everywhere, so stock up, stock down for him. And then the special teams took the step down. We had 2 fumbles. And then the last one, I know someone's going to get mad at me, the big stock down, Jonah Savaianaya. He played the whole first half. He was the only starter to play that much. And you get it, but he didn't do well against second-tier competition. There were some good points, but he was not recognizing stunts. His strength wasn't really there. He he has to be perfect. It seems like there's something going on, whether it's his setup, his stance, I don't know, his hand punch. Something's going on. He had a very, very poor game. And at this stage, he's going to be a weak spot for us come the season unless he can take a big step forward. Now, he's moving from tackle after having played guard in a while, and he's moving to the left side. So there is potential for him to step forward. And I'm not saying this for his long-term prognostication, and he can get better. But right now, he's going to have a big problem come week 1 unless he steps up. I'm hoping that he can. A lot of the stuff I saw was just recognition. And when you're on the right side, you kind of maybe see things differently when you're a tackle. You're used to things. So there might be a mental transition, but there is still a little bit of the physical aspect. He's a young guy too, like Jordan Phillips, but he doesn't have that strength. Strength means so much. You can get away with so much. Look at Paul. Paul sometimes has bad technique, but he's so powerful, he can get away with it. So let's get into the film, get into the blocking part. You know I love my blocking, so we'll get into the blocking here. This was a good one. We had a 3rd and inches, and we actually made it. And there's Wright. There's a little bit moving behind Jonah. It's not the best blocking, and we only picked it up by maybe an inch, so we needed about like 4 inches, and we got 8 inches. We still picked it up, and so you got to be happy about that. Then you can see here, Tana getting blown up. Keon Smith is on the ground. Savaianaya did a good job on that one, driving his guy up. He trips over Keon Smith. That was a good rep for Savaianaya. Then you can see here, this was a touchdown, but watch at the top over here, Keon Smith and Jonah. There's a stunt. He's got a switch. He's late. And then he's got to hook him here. He just kind of didn't read it right. That's something you can get a feel for. And then Eskridge does his thing. The guy was great all day. Keon Smith just bites inside, leaves the huge gap between him and the tight end. Just doesn't have a good feel for it. Allows the pressure here. And Jonah gets stalled out right there. Then he fights him off and drives him out, but then he ends up on the ground. Farrell Brown's kind of been pushed back, and then the back-end pursuit catches up. And that's also Keon Smith with a failed block there as well. I like this one. Carmen Jackson, he was playing guard, and I love this. Look at him smash that guy. Maybe Carmen Jackson's got some chances, some hope at the guard position. I don't know. He wasn't really that good on the day, but I like that one. I just had to put that in there. Nice and violent. We need that. Then over here on the defense, now look at Phillips. Get in there. He's got the guy on his shoulder. 20-year-old kid. And not a great offensive lineman over there, but still, he just sheds him like dirty on the way and comes in there with the stop. Nice stop. And then here, he even had a sack. This was nice. He fights his way. He's got 2, shakes free, and watch the violence. I love that, the slam on a quarterback. Nice job there. So you can see, I got to get the all 22, but Jonah did struggle. Keon's no good. Eskridge is a huge piece for us. Got to see more of Marshall. He's still very young, but we need help. Bonner's injured. He's not really there so much. I didn't see Hilton. Jones played okay, played pretty decent. There was some catches on him, but there were some of them real nice catches. But that Tesla kid's pretty good. They call Lions crazy for drafting him, but maybe he knew what he was talking about. They knew what they're talking about. So overall, our depth did seem to dominate the Lions' depth. Quarterback position looks a little bit better, but I am concerned of this week 1 offensive line at this stage. I'm not high on Jackson. 4 guys that are playing pretty good, you can cover for him. Jonah is the main piece. I am so high on Paul. I think Brewer's pretty good overall. He's got some strengths and some weaknesses. Daniels looks very good. But you can't go with 3 guys. And the tight end department is not really where we need to be. Although Rucci could be a wild card. He was a pretty good blocker last year. And he could be a wild card for us. So we've got to hope that Jonah steps up. We've got to hope that Jackson stays healthy. I'm not high on him, but I'm way higher on him than Borum or Keon Smith. So there's still room to grow, guys. I think there's a lot of things to be hopeful for. We've got to hope Jonah gets it together. It's not like he's a disaster, but because of what we're doing this year, we need to succeed, and right tackle spot in the depth is a little insecure. He's got to be above average. And in some ways he is, in some ways he's not. But there's a lot of guys when you go through this list that are really starting to shine. Trader, though, is a big piece. Marshall's a big piece. So overall, I think it's a nice step forward. I want to see a sizable step forward through this week and in next preseason game from some of these guys to really give me the confidence I need. But overall, there's a lot of stuff to like. I just don't know about the sum of the parts yet. So that's the whole deal. Curtis saying, be well, go Fins. Curtis out. Start building your own online sports book today by getting signed up with aceperhead.com service that'll allow you to book action on sports from all around the world.